Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am Kanisha. I'm a certified Ascension coach with Twin Flame Universe, and I am joined with Lisi, who is our Master Certified Ascension coach, and then Christina and Arshia, and they are both certified Ascension coaches as well. And we are here to talk with you about Ascension symptoms here on the Twin Flame journey. This is a pretty big topic, especially as you choose to heal and move out of previous patterns, then you will see symptoms start to occur in your life. And a lot of people will get that confused and think something wrong is happening, but it's actually just a really beautiful way of showing you that you are doing the healing and your life is changing. So we just wanted to make sure that we could come on here and just give you some clarity and help you be able to navigate through those ascension symptoms. So I think, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to introduce myself. So I'm Lisi, and I really would love to talk a little bit about upheaval. So I'll be focusing on that during our dialogue.
Okay. Yeah, I think upheaval that's actually a really great place to start, especially with those who are just starting off the mirror exercise, because upheaval can sometimes happen instantly. And it can feel like maybe I didn't heal completely or I didn't get to the core of it. And then we find that sometimes we will try to mirror the upheaval. So if you would like to go deeper into that and share with us on how to get clear on what's upheaval and what is not, would be great.
Sure. So there's many different things that people classify as an ascension symptom. But one of them is something we call spiritual upheaval. And what it is when you make a new choice in love in your heart, let's say that you're choosing your harmonious twin flame union and you choose to commit to your twin flame, then everything out of alignment with that new choice will come to the surface for purification and for healing. And so when that happens, it doesn't mean that you didn't choose properly or you didn't do the inner work right. It means you did. It means that you got to the core of what was ailing you, made a new choice, and then all the kind of upheavals coming out. So you might see more instances of what you just healed right after you've made that new choice. And so don't let it like fool you. I wanted to read a couple quotes from we have a upheaval support guide at the Twin Flames Universe blog. And I had it up and then I accidentally X'd out the window that it was on. So I'm just bringing it up again. Here it is. Okay, sorry about this. So the first quote from Jeff and Shalia from Twin Flame Ascension School, Sunday, 7 p.m. class 41, a lesson in spiritual upheaval and how to master it. When you call in big love, as you go deeper into new levels of loving, the old energy that has been out of alignment is going to come up for upheaval. That's what you can expect as you continue to call in deeper levels of love. You don't want a shallow life. You don't want a shallow love. This is a price you pay. It's a wonderful price to pay. You called in more love, which means you called in more God. Isn't that perfection? Isn't that perfect? So don't be scared about upheaval. And yeah, it feels bad. It's, you wanted to feel better, but now you're feeling bad. That is in many ways like you must walk through hell to get to heaven, that kind of thing. But don't attach to the upheaval either. So here's another quote. We feel good about ourselves. We did some spiritual work. I healed that block. Now I'm in upheaval. Sure, all the old stuff's got to go away and all the new stuff's got to come in. That's great. But are you focusing on all the bad feelings, the bad feeling things while you're in upheaval? Or are you focusing on the good feeling thing? Even the most awkward, uncomfortable, yucky thing is a treasure. That's true. So I'll pause there and see if anyone else wants to add or share any insights.
Yeah, looks like it felt like I was processing what you read. So that's part of how you move through the upheaval. I think that's the next piece that's coming. Like, how do you move through upheaval, and what is the difference between upset and upheaval, right? So what, like right now, as Lissy was reading, just processing my feelings, right? So that's basically how you process your upheaval. Do not attach to the feelings. Okay, you're feeling sad. Do not analyze, why am I sad? What is making me sad? Just process it. And if it is connected to an upset, it will be revealed. So just processing it one step at a time till you go back to that peace, till you go back to that choice you have made. And that is why this is being rooted out. So that is how you process your upheaval. And an upset would be probably something in your reality that upset you. That, okay, your boss said something to you and you got triggered or upset. So upset would be like very clear. You'd be triggered by it. And that's how you sort of differentiate. The other way is that just the understanding that we are humans and we will have feelings all the time. It is a very natural, normal thing. It's okay that, you watch a movie and then sometimes we get emotional, right? Watching a movie, because you're just feeling that. It's a feeling. That's all. All you have to do is process it. So when you choose to flow with the bad feeling during upheaval, then you will end up creating upsets there. Instead, if you just allow and process it and go back to your peace and hold on to the new choices you have made, then it would be fine. Otherwise, otherwise you're creating more upsets with the upheaval, which is not really required. So it's better that, you look at upheaval like this and look at upsets. Upsets it's going to be very clear. It is what is probably an upset, or what has happened to you in the past. If it's triggering you, then that's also an upset. So this sort of guidance you can often receive from your coach, especially if you're starting off new. It's important to go to the certified coaches and ask questions during your session if you're confused. So it's okay to learn and get clear. So yeah, that's what I feel is coming up. So these are all symptoms, part of your ascension journey. It's almost like you've taken a rocket ship, right? What I feel is ascension is, in my experience, the spiritual growth is very fast with mirror exercise, extremely fast. It's not like the other processes which I have been through, because it's very slow. And, because nowhere the process of upheaval is taught how to manage and things like that. So here it is at super speed. Like, let's say you're spiritually at this age, like 5-year-old, then suddenly you will spiritually boost into, maybe a 12-year-old, a teenager, and then you'll boost into, and then you'll be ready for marriage, union, things like that. So this is the process I felt in my journey. When I started, I was living with my parents. So I was a child. Then now I moved out. I have my own home, and we're building. So like maybe 20s and a little further, like spiritual growth is what I'm saying. So it happens fast like that if you do the work, and if you do mirroring, and if you really dive into the teachings from your heart, and if you understand what Jeff and Shilia is sharing through the process, through the classes, through Ascension School, through Life Purpose. If you understand that, then you'd be on a rocket ship. So there will be loads of symptoms, but not to be worried with that. So yeah, with that, I'll leave the next piece to someone else.
Yeah, I want to share that upheaval can also happen through your body. You know, a lot of people will report that. I personally experience a lot of upheaval in my body. Whenever I heal an upset, you know, it comes out through like some physical feelings sometimes. It's really important, as the other coaches have shared, not to attach to the feeling that's happening and not to resist it, but to allow it to flow. And of course, you know, if it's lasting for a little longer than a day or so, you know, seek medical support, right? But because it might be more than just a spiritual upset. There might be something where you need some physical support. But yeah, like, you know, something that's really important is not attaching to the feelings that are coming up, but allowing them to flow and giving yourself the space to move through your upheaval, the space to relax, the space to, you know, do whatever it is to be comfortable as you process. That is not the time to go deeper into spiritual work. That's a great recipe for overloading yourself and kind of depleting your energy, right? Because you can look at it like, to me, the best like way that I picture it is like, you can look at it like a tea kettle that's venting, you know, it's venting out all this stuff. That's not the time to try to like input more things, right? That's the time to just let the venting happen. And then when it's complete, you know, it's time to, you know, it's a good opportunity to then pick up your spiritual work again as you know, as you see fit. Your upheaval process and your integration process is like a crucial part of your spiritual work. And so if you're not giving yourself the space to process and upheave and like move through that release, you're going to find yourself a little backlogged. So that's my biggest piece there, is to give yourself that space to process.
Yeah, it's actually really important that you allow yourself to recognize that this is part of just the process. So you never want to like judge yourself. This is something I was doing where I was judging myself because I was feeling bad. And when I allowed myself that space to just be, it allowed it to move quicker. And I also recognized that I was becoming more sensitive. That's another ascension symptom, is becoming more sensitive to just the energy that I was in, just surroundings that I had myself in. And so a lot of people will start to be like, well, I was hanging out with these friends or this family, and I'm just feeling really tired and really heavy. And that's a symptom of letting you know that you are vibing up, and those who are not vibing up with you are I can't think of another word, but like they're kind of like siphoning your energy. I call it like an energy vampire. Not all of them are. Sometimes they don't even realize they're doing it. They just get really high off your energy, and then by the time you leave, you feel like you need a nap. And so that is a symptom of you ascending, and by raising your vibration, you'll start to become very sensitive to the things around you. You'll become sensitive to foods as well. I know for me in my ascension process, I grew up eating a lot of red meat. But when I really started to do this inner work and really started to feel my feelings, I became very aware of the foods that I was intolerant to and that actually really made me feel heavy. And so there's just different ways that you can really start to pay attention to yourself and become more aware of yourself when you start to ascend. You'll have all different types of things happening. And this is where a lot of people feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy, or I don't know what's happening here. It's you are letting go of all of the worldly things that you've held on to so long, and really ascending and going into Christ consciousness. That's the purpose of this work, is aligning with Christ consciousness. And so you can have some relief here knowing that you have complete support. Those who are on this journey have all moved through any ascension symptoms that have come up. Some people have moved through all of them, some people have moved through some of them, but as you communicate through the open forum and to share yourself, you will have someone be able to answer you or be able to give you some type of support in that space.
We have a question from Rashad Neal. He asks, is it true when going through ascending, you lose or gain weight?
It fluctuates. It really fluctuates. I know that there was a class that Shalia had shared in Twin Flame Ascension School where she was battling her weight and having to move through some of those things. And she said that a lot of it came from childhood. It was a lot of childhood trauma that she was moving through and processing. And this touches on what Christina had talked about with some of like the upheaval and some of the things that you move through physically come through your body. So it fluctuates really between what you're moving through, what is coming up for you, but really just be compassionate and gentle with your body through the process.
Yeah, so to kind of extend that a little, like the function of your weight isn't because of ascension, it's because of you inputting or not inputting something into your body. And the reason that you may or may not may be changing what you're eating, either input or not, is because of feelings that are coming up. And so actually Jeff and Shalia are developing a course for your perfect body. And I think there's going to be more info on that soon. But essentially like what you're putting in your body or not putting in your body may change, not because of some outer external thing, but maybe you're going to reach for ice cream more because it provides a feeling for you, or you have the impression that it provides a feeling for you. Maybe you one of your blocks might be like being hyper fixated on appearances and like models and trying to get like, a super skinny body or whatnot just to be loved and accepted. And when you let that go, you might notice, okay, I'm just going to let myself eat whatever I want and be compassionate with myself in that regard. And so you might put on a few pounds. It's not necessarily like the end of the world, because what you're doing is you're healing something on the vibrational level. And then you can start to feel more supported, and you can start to work on your energy, work on the energy that you need in order to like get fit again, but not from a place of trying to be accepted from someone else, but because you desire to and because it feels good to you. So, but it's a process. So yeah, some people lose, some people gain, some people don't do, none of the above. It's just what's going on with you, and you're really just, your job is to focus on healing and feeling good within yourself. Rashad, thank you for your comments. We have another one. So by the way, if anybody does want to comment, please do ask a question. So he says, I feel that a lot, sleepy and tired around old friends and family, going places and seeing people. So kind of like what I think, Kanisha, you're speaking to about like energy vampire type things.
Yeah, for me, I realized I just needed to put boundaries there. Doesn't mean you have to like take them out of your life or anything like that, but you do want to set boundaries in a space of just claiming your power, claiming your energy back, and really making sure that you're honoring your own energy. But yeah, you'll find that for me, it was really those who were choosing opposite of what I was choosing. So for me, I was choosing life, I was choosing ascension, I was choosing love. And for those who at their core are choosing opposite, felt like that was where I was really receiving that energy and feeling really drained and tired. And so I just spent a little less time around them. And anytime I could feel myself like feeling drained, I just would remove myself from that situation. So yeah, really just allow yourself to be honest with your feelings, and it requires you to be very present. And that is how I came to that realization, was being very present with myself and aware of those who were around me. And know that it's just part of the process of, again, raising your vibration and allowing yourself to create a new baseline in your vibration. And that will also, again, bring more ascension symptoms as well. I do hear a lot of people who get a lot of ringing in their ear, or they start to feel like they're getting like psychic abilities, and that's just because you are the veil in between is lifting and it's thinning, and so you're able to be in alignment to where you're getting what we call downloads much quicker, or just like a knowing much quicker. And so as you vibe up, you will feel like you will receive more support. Honestly, that's how I feel.
So we have another question. Is a headache an ascension symptom?
Yes, it is. Usually, I was just talking about this right before we started, where you'll tend to like get a headache or in your third eye or something like that. And Shalia had shared with us that it was resistance to letting upheaval go. And so when you do feel that, you can just choose to release resistance. One of the things my coach had taught me was just imagining my crown chakra opening up and letting it all go. And within a few minutes, you feel better and lighter. And so you can just make the choice to allow yourself to release it. And don't underestimate how powerful your choice is. Your choice is absolutely powerful. So when you make the choice to heal something and then you feel really bad after healing it, know that it's because you made the choice. And like Lisa had pointed out, you did do the healing. And so it just has to come up to be released, because the best way that I learned, or someone explained it to me, is all the bad feelings or all the things that you went through that you didn't process, where did it go? It all went down into your core, into your body. And so when you choose to release it and align with love there, it has to come up and be released somehow. And so you have to really allow yourself to just relax into the process instead of trying to resist it or fight it. And if you do get symptoms like a headache or really feeling like you need to take a nap, you just have to allow yourself to release and choose to let it go and rest and give yourself what you need there. I think Christina had something here.
Oh, I was gonna touch on a previous point that like in general, adjusting your boundaries is really supportive on your journey. Someone had asked, skin allergies like hives randomly, are they a typical symptom? Yeah, like it could be a symptom of sensitivity. It could be something where like you are becoming more sensitive, and so like your body is becoming more sensitive, and so it's like having that like histamine response against like stuff more easily or more readily. But of course, get checked out by a doctor, right? Don't ignore, because I feel like that's like the other side of the coin that happens with people is once you understand that everything has a has a spiritual nature to it, I think that some people do flip that coin, and then they try to just resolve all of their physical upsets spiritually. And there's no separation. You have a physical body, and sometimes it needs a physical solution. So there's no separation. You're still supporting yourself, you're still healing, when you address those physical symptoms in a physical way. There's no separation. You can't like pray away like a broken arm. You got to go get a cast. So I just really want to mention that like it is about striking a balance, right? Like the ascension journey is not about floating off into space. It's actually about living a grounded life on earth. And so it's creating your heaven on earth, at least the twin flame ascension journey is. And so it's really important to strike that balance and live a very balanced life, respecting that you are a physical being, a divine being in a physical experience. Yeah.
I think the general gist of the physical ascension symptoms is that if you have them, you're resisting the upheaval process. Like there's a part, like when you can surrender even more, it's going to make it easier. Surrender to going to the doctor. I had cancer and I was not going to pray the cancer away. No, no way. I had to, get the chemo and all of that. And there's a spiritual component, but, don't, like Christina said, like if you're experiencing things that over the counter medication won't resolve, like an Advil won't resolve or Tussin won't resolve. Sorry if anybody knows Chris Rock. Anyway, just go to the doctor, get medical help. There's no separation between Eastern and Western medicine either. It's all part of the, the medical consciousness. And I think we do need to say that when you're not seasoned, when you don't have a coach, when you haven't watched many Twin Flame Ascension School classes, sometimes the upheaval symptoms can feel really intense. Like the resistance can feel really intense. The thoughts and feelings that are coming up can feel really intense. And if you are experiencing any sort of suicidal thoughts or ideation, please contact your National Suicide Prevention line. I just want to say that. Don't worry, there's support for you, but please reach out for that kind of support. As Ascension coaches, that's not, we don't address those types of symptoms. You will need professional support for that to address those symptoms. So just wanted to say that note.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because I think a lot of people feel that when they come onto the Twin Flame journey and they don't fully receive all the support that is here for them, they could tend to go down that like spiral of depression, because they are continuing to seek things outside of themselves. And so with having an Ascension coach, I'm very grateful, because there will be times, even as a seasoned student, where I'll be moving through something and my coach is like, all right, let's look at this. Is it upheaval, or is it like you're actually moving through something, or what is it here? Do we just need to surrender and rest? And so to have someone kind of just there to support me and really help me see things, especially when you're in the middle of it, you're like in the storm, it's hard for you to be able to navigate that. So that is kind of what I've seen in the open forum, is sometimes people just feeling like, I feel more depressed now than I did prior to being on this journey. And it's really making sure that we're moving through the process of truly healing, loving ourselves in that place, understanding what upheaval is, giving ourselves the space to allow us to just let it go and move through it and really surrender to the process. And then you'll find that when you are doing this process, we can just say correctly, you'll find that you actually have a lot of beautiful things coming in, and life actually becomes more peaceful, becomes more joyful. You're having, I find that I have more peaceful days than I have days of upsets. We still move through upsets and we still have our own blocks, but when I started this journey, it was like, oh, block, upset. And now it's like, oh, peace. And then you're like, oh, I don't really feel that great at this moment. So maybe I should do some inner work. It kind of just becomes more of just your natural state of being is, of course, is to be at peace. And so the purpose of your Twin Flame Union is to ascend to God and to be in that place of harmony. And so if you're not finding that you have harmony, then you have work to do there, but it's not meant, this journey is not meant to make you feel bad all the time. And I think that sometimes people have that misconception, and that's how you get into that energy of twin flames are toxic. You're not meant to be with them, go into a soulmate, because they're not really sure how to navigate the actual spiritual process of this.
Yeah, so when it comes to navigation, like what Kanisha said, coach, I feel really helps in grounding and holding a space so that you can navigate through your upsets, through your feelings. That's what I have personally experienced, and even Kanisha shared right now. it's very important because it's like, okay, 3-4 sessions, and then, oh yeah, why is that I don't have my union, or I still feel bad. It doesn't work like that. You are an eternal being, and it is quite, it's the happily ever after. So there's not the end. So the spiritual work happens in cycles, and it's safe to have someone support you through it. And that's why the coaches, the Ascension School, and the classes are available, because that is high level of support to hold you in union consciousness. The reason why you have to be held in union consciousness is the illusion, like you've practiced illusion for a long time, like illusion of separation, hurt is real, sadness, okay, let's stay in sadness and spiral down to depression. All these things probably, would have been practiced over many years, or due to whatever conditions you have been through. So it's very important that you have the right support system. So I have noticed that, people spiral down because they do not choose regular support, because then you're not grounded in the process. Like, for example, if you go to school to pass out for 3 days and then never go to school, then how are you going to go to the next grade? Right? Something like that, very basic. Right. So, and harmonious union is not something that is very small in vibration. It is a very high vibrational energy, and that is within you, the God within you. You are finding your true self. So, yeah, you might feel odd when you let go of the ego self, and it is not really your true self, it's just an illusion. So, you might feel odd, but it is safe to be guided with the teachings, with the teachings of unionism. So it's this grounding is very important. Also, one more symptom which I felt was getting high with the work. So again, grounding is the answer for that, instead of getting high with the work. Like you, so what happens is, I've also noticed another pattern through meeting people as a coach. So that is, they'll come, do the healing, and then go back into the illusion, or go look outside of themselves, because they got that little high from the healing, they got energized from the healing, and then they again go outside, and then there is no change. And they're like, oh, I am doing all this work, there is no change. So just making sure that, that's also a ascension symptom. You will get high, but you have to ground yourself. You have to ground yourself back into love, back into yourself. So making sure, because when you're high, the chances of falling hard is also very, very much there. Then you will always keep feeling bad. And changes in the reality will also be lesser. So especially if you're just getting high, not using that energy in investing into your union and investing into your desires. So yeah, what I wanted to share.
Yeah, it's good to put that energy into your life purpose, especially if your twin flame isn't directly with you or in your physical space yet. Putting that into your life purpose is very powerful. There's another thing that I wanted to touch on, like spiritual symptoms, is actually like flu-like symptoms, where you resist the healing, and then you find yourself having like a cold for like 24 hours to 48 hours. That doesn't usually last as long as a cold, but you will get symptoms of just like maybe sometimes getting chills or shakes, and these are all things that you want to just take care of your body and make sure that it isn't an actual cold. I know for me, when I start to release something really big and I'm having a bit of a resistance, I will go in a sneezing fit. That's not always fun. And I'm like, okay, I surrender, I release it, I just let it go, and then it goes away. But these are all things that like you'll just be like, I feel like I'm getting a cold, when maybe you just moved through something really big, and it might just be letting you know that you might be resisting it a bit, of just really truly letting it go. So symptoms can range. And you just want to make sure, like Alicia touched on, that you can look at it from a spiritual standpoint, feel your feelings, but there will come a point, if you need to take actual physical action of taking care of your physical body. And so again, it always comes back to presence and just being honest with yourself and really claiming your support in every way there.
Yeah, something I want to mention kind of based on that is I've experienced that of like kind of getting sick or moving through those flu-like symptoms and like feeling really like depleted in my body as I've moved through like bigger healings. And one of the things that I've learned also is one of the ways you can be resisting your upheaval is or resisting your healing is not giving yourself the support to move through it, right? Like you do need to respect that you are moving through a healing process, and if you heal something big, like, that doesn't involve a lot of energy, right? And so you might need to rest a little bit, or you might need to give yourself more support. You might find yourself like a feeling a little depleted otherwise, because you can respect that you've had like a big energy shift, and so taking some space to rest and not trying to just plow through, that's really important, right? Like respecting that there's no separation between the physical and the emotional or the spiritual, and it does involve a lot of energy every time you're going through a big healing. And so it's safe to give yourself that space to move through that.
Yeah, so there's support here. So in this process also, the physical, which I took personally, which is MAP Health and Wellness. It is, if you're like planning to go deep into taking care of yourself, and this is excellent to understand how the physical and the spiritual is one through MAP Health and Wellness. It's very, very helpful. That's what I have experienced, because I had a huge block towards medical support. So because of my childhood illnesses and whatever that is. So I had a huge block, but healing was needed there. Love was needed there. And otherwise, these symptoms, if it is coming up through physicality, you need support there. And maybe it is a deeper healing that you need there. Like, for example, if you have experienced stress and anxiety as a trauma response throughout your life, then it is safe to take deeper support there through MAP Health and Wellness. This is out of my experience I'm talking. So it really helps me align to the new neural pathways, right? So the old neural pathways can slowly melt away and, move into a fully loved state.
I wanted to add something I watched in a Twin Flame Ascension School class this week. It was all about upheaval. It was how to master, hang on a second. It's called Sunday, 7 p.m. class 41, a lesson in spiritual upheaval and how to master it. I actually watched it as a sermon. So some of you may or may not know that you can get the sermons of Twin Flame Ascension School. So those are the like short nuggets of packed with spiritual vitamins pulled from Twin Flame Ascension School, packed into a cohesive product. It's a different thing altogether. But I was watching one of those, and Jeff and Shalia were talking about like their upheaval symptoms, part of the ascension process, and likened it. Jeff was talking about how he likened it to, when he was sick as a kid and he stayed home from school, and he doesn't remember the bad feelings. He remembered just like the soup that he got to eat and the movies he got to watch. Shalia too, sitting at home watching movies and taking care of yourself. You don't remember the sickness. You remember your love. You remember taking care of yourself. And so that's why it's really important to, put the bunny slippers on, be gentle with yourself and take care of yourself, because that's what you're going to remember about your ascension journey. You're not going to remember how bad you felt 3 years ago. You might like think on it. You could think on it if you wanted to, but it's not going to be in your vibration anymore. It's going to be gone, and you're going to be with your twin flame in harmonious union. So yeah, just know that the the love remains. The love is what you remember, the love you give yourself.
That's really true. And it also speaks to like the process of moving through separation and healing separation. Like I remember, the years where I was like on my twin flame journey and healing separation. And at the time I was spending a lot of time alone, and I was just like coming home from work and like sitting on my couch and watching TFAS, or like doing inner work or watching TV. And, at the time I felt like lonely, but I look back on that time and I was like, I really like loved myself up a lot during that time, and like those are actually like that's what I remember from that. So yeah, it's not, you don't remember the things that didn't feel good. You remember like the love you gave yourself. I love that.
Perfect. I feel like we're coming to an end here. That's a great way to end that. How is everyone else feeling? Perfect. All
Yeah, I
right.
feel
Well,
good.
thank you everyone for joining us. We will definitely make sure to link below in the comments for the mind alignment process and for Twin Flame Ascension School, just so that you have your support there, and definitely check out those Ascension coaches. But thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a great day.